Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, the Habs postgame show after last night's disappointing 5-2 loss at home versus the Ottawa Senators. The Canadiens needed to bounce back. They needed to win this game tonight on a night where they were paying tribute to former Montreal Canadiens defenseman Andrei Markov. Shots on goal were 31 shots apiece, but when all was said and done, Jakub Dobes is the goalie who did not get beat in the shootout. It was Slafkovsky and Kapanen, the scorers on the night. 2-2 the score. They go to a shootout, 6 shooters, 3 on each side, and the only one to score is the most natural goal scorer between the two teams. Mind you, that's debatable, but I think he is. Cole Caufield does it in front of Hockey USA GM Bill Guerin and company. Canadiens win by a score of 3-2, much to the delight of Jakub Dobes. We'll talk about it. Yeah, my voice is still not back. I'm Marinaro. Pierre McGuire, hopefully, can bail me out. He's coming up.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now. Got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lanier, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est fini. Ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they work the young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, December 3rd. The Montreal Canadiens win a big game versus the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 3-2 in the shootout. Without further ado, let me bring in my partner in crime on Montreal Canadiens postgame shows, Pierre McGuire.
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
Restaurant Vago Italian has been open 23 years. Longevity. Not many restaurants open that long. They have private dining rooms in the back for any occasion. Every time I go there, I see that people just love being in those private dining rooms. It's a beautiful spot. Birthdays, engagements, corporate meetings, plenty of free parking after 6. You know, sometimes you go to a restaurant, you go round and round and round and round and round for parking, and you're almost like disappointed. You're like, I should have never gone to that restaurant because parking's always an issue. I can tell you, I never had to look for parking when I go to Restaurant Vago. I usually go on Saturday nights, sometimes on Thursday nights as well. Every time I go, I always find the spot on Green Avenue. Open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch Tuesday to Friday. Fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics and new Italian. Tommaso, the most popular man in Westmount, at the front of the house. His partner Angelo at the back of the house. Nick is the maitre d' there. By the way, one of Nick's very best friends in the whole wide world, a man they pay tribute to tonight at the Bell Center, Andrei Markov. And Pierre is nodding because Pierre knows exactly who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nick from Moscow, and one of his great buddies is Andrei Markov from Moscow as well. As a matter of fact, every time he visits Moscow, he stays at Andrei's house. So that's how close they are. Pierre McGuire, how are you?
I'm good, and way to play hurt tonight, Tony. Well done.
Thank you. It's okay. I appreciate that, Pierre, but I'll get better. No big deal. I think it's only fitting that I ask you just a couple of words on Andrei Markov and his career. I don't know if we can bring up a picture. It was a very beautiful tribute tonight at the Bell Center. We saw Andrei Markov address the crowd at the Bell Center, 21,000 strong. Always very timid when he played here. Never spoke much. And it was nice to see him grab that microphone and talk to the public in both languages, making the effort to say a couple of words in Francais, which I know was very much appreciated. Pierre, he told the members, he told the fan base, Montreal is the best city in the world to play hockey.
He's right. I would agree with that too. Andrei's a special guy. Never heard him say a bad word about anybody. I know he's a really intense competitor. He was highly coachable. And the thing is, you watch the consistency in his game year in and year out. You know, it was just amazing to see what a consistent player he was. He had to go through some great times with the Montreal Canadiens. He had to go through some bad times with the Canadiens. But I still see him putting on that sweater, and you can tell he's a Montreal Canadian. I was happy to see his young family out there. That was beautiful to see. And hey, you know what? The Canadiens do those ceremonies, Tony, as you know, as well or better than anybody. And was really, really special to watch.
There's no doubt about it, Pierre. Pierre, you know, as good as he was, and here's a guy who logged 23, 24, 25 minutes of ice time. I remember him logging 26 and 27 minutes of ice time. He's as a 38 years old, coming off of 2 ACL injuries, the way he did back to back. He was still somewhat underrated, Pierre. He was a really good player who, by the way, when drafted, was drafted as a centerman.
That is correct. He was drafted as a forward. You are 100% correct, sir.
Isn't that something? And Pierre, can you begin to put in the words, and then we'll end it here with being that good for so long, even up until age 39, and doing it coming off of back-to-back ACLs, where so many members of the media thought his career was finished.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as Chelios, obviously, but Chelios went through a lot of the same stuff with knee problems, and it's interesting. They're both former Montreal Canadiens. In the case of Chelios, obviously with Chicago and Detroit as well. But, the thing about Markov is the consistency that you just talked about, whether it was making a first pass, whether it was making a good decision on a power play, whether it was eliminating people down low, whether it was making a big play without taking a penalty. Andrei Markov is a picture of consistency and efficiency. There weren't a lot of players like him in the league when he played. He was just that efficient.
Pierre, thanks for that tribute to Andrei Markov, who, of course, received a beautiful ovation earlier tonight at the Bell Center. Pierre, for this game, Marty St. Louis shuffles the deck, and he puts Demidov back with Suzuki and Caufield. Your thoughts on that move?
You mean Slafkovsky? He put
Slafkovsky. Pardon me, Slafkovsky.
That's okay. Yeah, no, he put Slafkovsky. I watched him play a couple shifts with Bolduc, and I'm like, this isn't working, and they got to figure it out. And so they do. They put Slafkovsky.
But Bolduc had scored a couple of goals, Pierre. Only thing is, scored them on the road.
Yeah, I know. I watch all the games like you do, but the power play, I'm not fooled by that. There's a lack of consistency in the 5-on-5 game. Bolduc can't play defensively very well, and you're playing a lot of minutes when you're playing as a first-line player. The Canes got an issue still, though, with their defense, with the other team's defensemen beating their forwards up the ice and not recognizing in-zone coverage situations. They're going to have to fix that, and they're going to have to fix it quick. Texier is one of the guys. He's a new guy that's on the team. They're going to have to work with him a lot. But I was happy they did that for Slafkovsky. The thing that impressed me the most about the Canadiens tonight is Demidov, Kapanen, and Texier. That line actually had some pop to it. And Demidov really had some pop, especially at a key time in the game when he made that great assist out front to Kapanen.
He really did, Pierre, but you made a comment a couple of minutes ago, and you said Bolduc doesn't play defense very well. Nope. And you're right, Pierre. If you remember, the lineup, the line changes to actually put Bolduc on a line with Suzuki and Caufield. What led up to it was there was a game where Bolduc had about 9 minutes. There were a couple of games where he had about 11 minutes. And when they were tight games, Marty St. Louis wasn't playing him very much late in the games. Yeah. And members of the media asked Marty St. Louis what Bolduc had to do to actually turn his game around. And Marty St. Louis knew where they were going with this and said, listen, I got to do a better job of giving a player or two more minutes than I have. I've never coached a team with this much talent, a little bit of a juggling act, but this is on me and I got to do. And then a couple of days later, Bolduc finds himself on that line with Suzuki and Caufield. When you said Bolduc doesn't play defense very well, you're right. That's why he wasn't getting minutes before he was promoted. And that's also why, Pierre, a couple of games ago, there were 4 minutes left in a tight hockey game. Marty St. Louis put Slafkovsky up on that line with Suzuki and Caufield. And when they pulled the goalie in the final minute of the game, he had Slafkovsky on the ice again. He doesn't put Bolduc on in those situations.
No, and it started really in the Utah game. They had Bolduc up there, and all of a sudden it wasn't working out really well. And they said, you're not playing with these guys anymore. We're going to put Slafkovsky up there. And so then they go into Vegas and obviously get a win. And a big part of that win was Sammy Montembeault. I'm not fooled by that either. And I don't think the best fans in Montreal are fooled by that. Montembeault played fantastic in that game. Then they get pulverized in Colorado, and they get pulverized by Ottawa. And you talked about it last night. Maxime Lapierre talked about it last night. Brian Wilde talked about it. I tried to talk about it. The truth is that this team's floundering a little bit, and they needed this tonight, and they got it. That's the kind of game they need to play. They had to come from behind twice. They had to win in a shootout. There were opportunities both ways in overtime. They had to get some goaltending. They had to get some defense. They had to get some divine intervention, with the puck off the post by Vilardi. They were able to do that, and I was really proud of the team tonight. As upset as I was with the team last night, I was really proud with them tonight.
Well, Brian Wilde is going to join us in just a couple of minutes, Pierre. And Brian Wilde actually sent over a couple of clips to Shane Gaumont, who's at Master Control. One is Jake Evans. One is Juraj Slafkovsky. One is Arbor Jackeye. And Shane, do you have them already? And if you do, go ahead and play them.
Pet my dog for a while. And then again, I was just really happy we had a game today. And credit to the coaches for you can bury a guy pretty quickly and take that confidence away, but they believe in me and they gave me that chance again tonight.
Jake Evans says that he was pretty angry with himself last night, that over last night's game, and statistically, Pierre, he was the one who had the hardest time last night for the Canadiens versus the Ottawa Senators. And he says, you know what, credit to the coaches, because they could have buried me if they wanted to, and they didn't. And Jake Evans had himself a good hockey game tonight, Pierre.
He did. That's what we were talking about last night. We clearly talked about him losing his identity, and he had to get it back. I talked about it with my good friend Mitch Melnick today. He has to figure it out. I don't know if it was too cool for school. I don't know if it's the contract. I don't know what, something happened in the summer. I have no idea what happened, but I'm just telling you, he needs to get his identity back that he had last year. And tonight he had it back. Tonight he had it back, and he was very good tonight. Very good.
Let's hear from Juraj Slafkovsky, who was also very good tonight.
I think it's good that we got the win, and it's for sure it's a relief. But we got 11 more games until playoffs, so we can get satisfied.
Cool, that's it.
There you have it. Juraj Slafkovsky says it's a relief, but you know what? We got some more big games ahead of us here. And Slafkovsky added that he's happy for Dobes, that he's not crying anymore. That's a true story, Pierre. I got the text message from Brian that Slafkovsky said that. That's pretty funny. Pierre, Dobes was very good tonight.
Oh, he was outstanding. He was really good. And there were some huge saves he had to come up with at different times in the game. First period, second period, obviously, in the third period in the shootout. He came up with some really, really – and in overtime, obviously, too. No, he was good. And you know what? He looked big. Tony, I don't know if you agree.
Yes.
He looked big in that. He looked big. When I watch Montembeault play right now, and I'll go back to what happened last night on the Zetterlund goal, I didn't think it was that hard to save opportunity.
Me neither.
He looked small in net, Tony. He just looked small. I watched Dobes tonight. He looked big in that, and that's what you need to have, guys that are big, that actually look big.
Pierre, I totally agree with you. And then once again, look, it worked out for the Canadiens tonight, and they won. Let's put the cards on the table, all right? Mm-hmm. If you're going to win a game, the game you wanted to win was yesterday. Yesterday was a 4-point game, all right? Now, winning this one tonight, hey, one win is better than no wins, so I get that. Yep. But I said this last night. I said it leading up until last night, and it probably wasn't going to make a difference because the Canadiens played with so little emotion last night. I didn't get the fact that Jakub Dobes didn't play last night. I'm telling you, I didn't get the fact he didn't play last night. It didn't make sense to me. He was the number one. I'm not going to call him the number one goalie, but up until 10 days ago versus Toronto, Marty St. Louis said, you're my guy. He played that game. He won it. They go on that 3-game road trip like I told you yesterday. He plays that first game, which is the most important one. He wins that one too. And then there's a back-to-back. You can either play him versus Vegas or you can play him versus Colorado. They choose to play him versus Colorado, which was a scheduled loss. It was a scheduled loss, and he gets lit up. His team wasn't there. 3 games in 4 nights, 3 games in less than 4 nights, travel, jet lag, altitude, and totally outclassed by the Colorado Avalanche. And then they come back. They got 2 games in 2 nights. The most important one is last night, and they don't go to him because Samuel Montembeault's last game was a good game.
So this is the question. This is the money shot. Who's playing Saturday?
It shouldn't even be a question.
But it's going to be. And I'm telling you, they better not make it a question. It better be Dobes.
If it's not Dobes, then I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I mean, let's be honest. And it doesn't mean that if it's Dobes that they're going to win in Toronto. Obviously not, but I mean, it was Dobes 10 days ago that picked up the win versus the Leafs.
Here's the thing. The Leafs playing Carolina tomorrow night. That's a huge game for Toronto. Obviously, they're trying to get back in the race. If they win that game, you got a tiger by the tail Saturday night. You bet all hands on deck Saturday night. All hands on deck. And you better make sure you dress the right players for that game, especially if Toronto wins on Thursday night in Carolina.
Sick Podcast brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset-light 3PL that's driven to be different from cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico to coast-to-coast shipping in both Canada and the United States, energy moves it all. Fast, reliable, powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, you contact Energy Transportation Group at the following email, sick@shipenergy.com, and see how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. I want to talk to you about Playground, as if watching hockey wasn't thrilling enough. Now every goal means more action on the felt. Before the puck drops, every poker table is randomly assigned the player from Montreal, and when your player scores, boom, Playground splashes the next pot with up to $200 in chips. Catch every game on Playground's big screens all around the room, so you'll never miss a goal, a play, or a splash pot. So get your game face on and head to Playground for hockey nights, where the goals, the games, and the action all come together. One more for now. Bittt Tibi, their new ultra lager, refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for those chilly winter days with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing. Pierre, why don't we go to the Montreal Canadiens lineup for tonight's game? And we have it. Suzuki with Slafkovsky and Caufield. Kapanen with Demidov and Texier. Evans with Gallagher and Anderson. Veleno, Bolduc, Davidson. Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hutson, Jacky, Carrier, and Jakub Dobes. Pierre, so many things I want to talk to you about between now and midnight or whenever we're going to end. I want to talk to you about Arbor Jacky dropping the gloves, which he hasn't done since the Janot fight. Arbor doing well. Arbor doing it against Adam Lowry, who had just delivered a bone-crunching hit on Alex Carrier. I want to talk to you about the duo of Matheson and Dobson that I thought actually struggled quite a bit. We'll talk about the wizardry of Lane Hutson once again in front of Bill Guerin. Pierre, I just loved everything about Hutson again tonight with the game on the line. He wanted the puck. He wanted to make a difference. He wanted the puck. He was getting things done. But we're going to talk about this for now. We'll start with this. You talked about Zachary Bolduc, and you said, you saw a few things and you didn't like it, and you weren't fooled by a couple of power play goals, and you said something's not working here, and he's not a good enough defensive player. Pierre, he just went from first line to fourth line overnight.
Yeah, well, if you're watching the tape, which coaches do, and you're not a fan and you don't just follow statistics, you're going to see that there are a lot of holes in his game. And there's some refining that has to go on. One of the things that's also very apparent, you talk about that, where he plays with Davidson and Veleno. Joe Veleno starts overtime by taking the face-off, which I thought was smart, prudent.
Yes.
They didn't win the draw, but still Marty did that. And then I don't know if you caught it at the end.
He actually kind of won the draw, but they weren't able to gain possession.
It was a scrambled draw.
Yeah.
And then at the end, if you watch, there's a little battle on the bench. Jake Evans is a right-hand shot. He wants to go out and take that face-off with a little more than 2 seconds to go. And Marty's like, no.
You saw the same thing I saw. And I bet you we're on the same wavelength here. Why did he decide on Veleno?
Oh, well, I don't know why he did, but I'll tell you why I would have.
Okay, but can I tell you?
Yeah.
Because case in point, what happened versus the Washington Capitals last week on that side of the ice, that draw that Jake Evans lost, and it ended up being an Alex Ovechkin power play goal 1 second later. And we all said, you got to put the left-handed shot to take the face-off.
Yeah.
And so he looked at Veleno. Veleno actually, Pierre, without being perfect, he's playing better, Pierre. He's playing better.
He's grasping his role, which is good. But so I saw that as well. You're right about Lane Hutson, by the way. And we had Billy Guerin on the eye test today. I
saw that. I retweeted it. Yeah.
Thank you. And Billy was outstanding. And I asked him straight up, I said, what are you doing in Montreal? Your team's in the West Coast. I'm paraphrasing now. And I said, are you here to see Cole Caufield and Lane Hutson? He goes, that's exactly who I'm here to see.
You knew he was here to see them. So you kind of, I like that he asked, but that's exact. So what do you think his impressions were, Pierre, when he walked? Listen, Cole Caufield said at the end of the game, by the way, he was named the first star.
Yeah.
But Cole loves to score and regulate. Cole loves to score goals, and he didn't with the exception of the shootout. And Cole said, yeah, that goalie was good tonight. He had my number all night. You know that Cole Caufield has been a first star 7 times this season. Do you know how much the rest of the team has been a first star? 7 times this season.
Wow. That's really impressive. That's really great. Here's what I'd say. Cole's pass to Slafkovsky in the power play, that gets eyeballs looking at you too. That was a slick play by Cole to put it out. And the guy that Slafkovsky
set play, tic-tac-toe.
But the guy that you got to get that past the 6'5" Adam Lowry stick. That's not an easy thing to do. It's a really slick play by Cole, and it's a great finish by Slafkovsky. There was a lot that Cole did tonight that was really good. I thought your description of Hutson when you talked about wizardry is spot on. And so if you're the American general manager now and you're looking at this, you're going, well, I got Charlie McAvoy that's got an operated face because he got hit with a puck in Montreal on a Saturday night. And you got Adam Fox that's seriously got a serious upper body injury. You need some offense from your defense. You still don't know what's going on with Jakub Slavin. Tony, I'm shocked. Where's the media and all this? How come they never talk about that?
I can't answer that, Pierre. I'll answer this, and it's easy for me to say, and maybe it's because I see Lane Hutson more than I see other defensemen. I'm not leaving a talent like that at home, Pierre. I'm just not. I'm not.
No, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But there's injury situations all around the league now, not just for USA, but for Canada as well. And I think this and we talked about this eons ago when people were irate that Lane wasn't invited to their orientation camp. They didn't even go on the ice. And we talked about, hey, their guys are going to get hurt and Lane's going to play well. They're going to eventually see him. So I think it's actually really bona fide that Billy was there tonight for a reason, to watch those two guys. And I think that's going to help.
Speaking of talent, we agree on Lane Hutson. I don't know if we're going to agree on the next one, but if I'm Hockey Canada, I'm not leaving Connor Bedard at home either. That's too much talent.
No, so you're going to have to make – you got to make it – there's going to be a decision they're going to have to make. They're going to have to make, is Celebrini more valuable than Bedard? Because Bedard can't play center. He can't – not on that team.
I'm bringing both.
Pardon me?
I'm bringing both.
So who's staying home?
Who's staying home that was on the team last year?
No, that one's there's a few. I don't want to talk about those guys, but I'll talk about guys. So are you leaving Tom Wilson at home?
That's a tough one because he's the only Canadian player that they have. Well, they have Hagel to a lesser degree, but Tom Wilson's very unique. I like to bring him because he's very unique in his skill set.
You know how many goals he has this year? 16.
And he had 30 last year.
He has 16 goals this year.
Yeah, no, you got to bring him.
He's got to go.
You got to bring him.
So is Scheifele going to make the team?
Either him or Suzuki.
There you go. So there are going to be a few guys from last year's Four Nations that aren't going to make it.
Yeah, that number one line was pretty good against the Canadiens tonight, by the way.
Yeah, well, Kyle Connor and Slafkovsky, Scheifele are tremendous, and Velarde's so underrated. Like that play that he beat Dobes, but he hit the goalpost and comes out in the shootout. He's got slick hands, that kid. He really does. He's a very good player.
Let's take a look at the score sheet tonight's game, the game sheet. All right, so speaking of Scheifele, in period number 1, 18:35, assist to DeMello and Kyle Connor. What did you see on this play, Pierre?
It was right near the end of the period, and I'm just like, what's going on? The Canes have their first line on the ice, and they're trying to stall the clock, and all of a sudden Scheifele just explodes up the ice, gets a good feed from Kyle Connor, and finishes a play off, goes high glove side. It's a great shot by a winning player. But I was surprised the Canes were so passive resistance in that situation.
You talked about the power play. You talked about Cole Caufield's pass to Juraj Slafkovsky. Pierre, we just talked about it in the second period. Canadiens going to power play. That's a set play, Pierre. That's tic-tac-toe. Yep. Suzuki to Caufield to Slafkovsky in the bumper, and his finish was fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's a big-time play. You got to remember, too, Adam Lowry is a heck of a player. I know he's coming off an injury. Maybe he's not 100%. But he's a heck of a player, and he's a big guy. And for Slafkovsky to outmuscle him and beat him to the point where Caufield can get him the puck, that's a big-time play. It's a big-time play.
Pierre, on Kyle Connor's goal, the Montreal Canadiens lately in the last couple of weeks with that man-to-man defense, they tend to forget about the guy in the front of the net. They tend to forget about the guy in the bumper position. And they forgot about a guy who has scored a lot of goals in his career and over the last couple of seasons in Kyle Connor as well. But that's a great job that the Jets did with the puck down low and finding Kyle Connor in the slot here.
The other part, too, is they recognized Slafkovsky had a broken stick, and they kept the play alive, and they really isolated on him as well. I still don't understand. I know it's a period of the long change. There was one opportunity for him to get off the ice, but obviously he didn't think that was a prudent thing to do. But you can't keep leaving guys like Kyle Connor wide open, especially in that kind of situation. I don't know the actual time on ice for that sequence in the offensive zone for Winnipeg, but it was substantial. It was substantial.
Pierre, the Canadiens tie it on a goal in by Oliver Kapanen at 14:03. So about 2.5 minutes after the Winnipeg Jets take the lead, they tie it up. Texier dumps it in. It goes to Demidov, who spins on Josh Morrissey. Pierre, that's not spinning on a Garage League player.
No.
Morrissey probably saw that and said, who the heck is this guy? Well, I'm sure he probably knew him before, but what a play by Demidov to Kapanen. He scores his 8th, Pierre. What a play by Demidov, and what a game he had tonight, Ivan Demidov, Pierre.
There was an energy to his game tonight that we haven't seen. We definitely didn't see it in the last 2 games in Colorado, and we didn't see it against Ottawa the other night. But you're right, and that was Josh Morrissey. You're spot on. And I was really surprised because usually Josh in contained situations like that's really good. He kind of is like an eraser. He gets on you and he doesn't get off you. But he spun away from him, and there's some quickness. There were some other plays Demidov made in this game tonight where you could see his acceleration and his ability to control the puck in confined areas was phenomenal. And that plays a perfect example of what we're talking about.
We have something about the most 5 used Montreal Canadiens forwards, a graphic that came out on Twitter. Shane Gaumont and Master Control, if you can bring it up. This from Canadiens Muse. Most used forwards tonight, Pierre. Look at this. Kapanen, 2007. Slafkovsky, 2006. Suzuki, 2006. Caufield, 1955. Ivan Demidov, 1929. Listen, it's the top 5 forwards on the first 2 lines.
Yeah, but the coach knew that Demidov had it going on. He saw Oliver Kapanen engaged, not just athletically, but physically as well. He made a smart move after a couple shifts. He says, look, I'm not keeping Bolduc here anymore. That line's not working. I'm putting Slafkovsky up there. And that's proactive coaching. I have so much respect for Marty for doing that, and it worked out well. As mad as I was at that team last night and as mad as I was at him in Colorado, I knew the Colorado game, as you like to say, was a built-in loss in the schedule. You knew that was coming. But last night shouldn't have happened the way it did. I give Ottawa credit for playing a great game, but Montreal didn't play a very good game last night.
Pierre,
a good game tonight.
When Markov was addressing the crowd, the camera zoomed in on Ivan Demidov, fellow Russian who looked at Andrei Markov with so much admiration, I think. Yeah. And he just loved some of the words that Markov was saying when he was talking about the fact that it's the best hockey city in the world, best fan base and all that stuff. And he loved the love that Markov was getting. And I just said to myself, I don't know, I just have a feeling that Demidov's going to have a good one tonight. But he himself wanted to pay tribute to Andrei Markov, and he had himself an amazing game. We're going to Canadiens next up are going to play, of course, the Leafs in Toronto on Saturday night. Go all the way with Betway. Get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen. Click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please, please play responsibly. Pardon me. Brian Wilde should be joining us in a couple of minutes. I would imagine that he's probably at Marty St. Louis press conference right now. Why don't we bring up a couple of stats from the event summary? Shane Gaumont. Pierre, you have it here. Out of all the stats that you see, talk to me about some of them that caught your attention. Jared Davidson, by the way, was in tonight for Florian Jacki.
Yeah, he was. And, he gave a good effort. The hits, I think that's important for him. But you can see that I'm not sure how much confidence the coach has in him. You can see Bolduc, the numbers below Jared Davidson. So that speaks to what I was telling you about before. The coach saw the same thing I saw. Veleno was important on faceoffs, and look, he won 8 and lost 2. You know, we saw that. Jake had a good night on faceoff, so he was 8 and 3. So that's pretty darn good for him. Faceoff play was good for Montreal tonight. It really was. But
I don't think sorry, Pierre, I don't think it's just the coach probably saying, you know what, I don't have a lot of trust in Bolduc's game. And I don't know this for a fact. I think he's decided. I wouldn't be surprised if the lack of ice time in so many games that we've seen this year is also because he's dissatisfied with his work rate.
Yeah, but I get that. But if I have a player that's not working real hard, I'm not trusting him. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Especially in big moments of the game. But I give Joe Veleno a lot of credit. Like, the coaches trust in him, even though his ice time's not huge. The coaches trust him. He's putting them out in big situations, which is a great thing for him. What else do I notice on the stat sheet?
And look at Joe's stat sheet here tonight. 3 shots on goal, 4 hits, and he won 8 of 10 faceoffs.
Yeah.
Joe Veleno, very quietly, not a sexy player. He's never going to catch your attention all that much, but very quietly, Joe Veleno had himself a game tonight, Pierre.
Yeah, no, he did. He definitely did. That's what we were talking about before. I didn't have to see the stats. I knew that. So you look at here, the one thing that stands out too is Caufield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky all dashed too. That's, again, that's got to get better, which I think it will. It's one of those things. But outside of that, the sheet looks pretty normal. Obviously, Lane was tremendous. Lane Hutson was awesome tonight.
Yeah. And Josh Anderson, who was a no-show yesterday versus Ottawa, he got the memo because he had 5 hits in tonight's hockey game. So the Canadiens in the face-off circle, 58% for Suzuki, 73% for Jake Evans, 80% for Joe Veleno, 47% for Oliver Kapanen. Bolduc, 754, the least amount of ice time of any Montreal Canadiens player in tonight's game. Mike Matheson at 27 minutes and 12 seconds. But it was a little bit difficult, I thought, for Matheson and Dobson tonight. But at the same time, they went up against one of the best 5v5 lines in the National Hockey League, Pierre.
Yeah, when you're playing against Scheifele and you're playing against big guys that can skate and move like Kyle Connor and Gabe Vilardi, that's a tough matchup. And that's a back-to-back where Winnipeg's home and cooled out, probably laying at the Ritz-Carlton watching the game on TV. These guys are out playing against Ottawa in a very physical playoff-style game. So that takes a lot of courage to do what Mike and Noah did. But could they both be better? Yeah, the answer is yeah, they could. But I still – Mike Matheson's been tremendous for this team all year long. And I respect guys that understand what they have to do to help the team, and both those players understand what they have to do to help the team.
Pierre, getting word that Florian Jacki and Adam Engstrom were sent back down to the Laval Rocket. Mm-hmm. And I'm really interested to have your opinion on this because when Florian Jacki played, it seemed like he had more minutes than Jared Davidson.
Yep.
And he seemed a little bit more comfortable. But yet he goes back down and Davidson's still here. Your thoughts?
I thought Davidson was going to be in trouble after he took the penalty. I think it was in Utah, if I remember correctly. And I thought he'd be in a little bit of trouble because he didn't get another shift after he took that penalty. But I think probably this is where coaching staffs come together and they chat and they say, who can actually help us win and play the role that we need him to play right now? And I think they realize it's probably Jared Davidson over Florian Jacki. In terms of Engstrom, it's just time. He just needs time to play more and more.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to pretend about this. We've talked about it ad nauseum. I was worried about it when he went down. I thought it'd be a long injury, and it has been. At some point, this team needs Caden Gooley back. They do. If they want to take the next step, they need a player like Caden Gooley back in the lineup. They really do.
Yeah. I saw something earlier today on when he is probably expected back based on the timeline that they gave us. And let me see if I can bring it up right now. It actually, it had pretty much all of the injured players and their timelines. And let me see. I should have it here. Okay. It was actually Marc-Olivier Baudouin who brought it up. Marc-Olivier Baudouin brought it up. Caden Gooley's expected back, the timeline, around the 23rd of January, Pierre. The first Canadian player that will come back is going to be Kirby Dach. He should be back just after Christmas, around the 28th of December. Caden Gooley, 23rd of January. Patrick Laine, expected the 28th of February. Alex Newhook, March 17.
The Canes are going to have to get proactive in the trade market if they want to take another step past where they were last year. Those are a lot of injuries. Those are key players that are going to miss significant amounts of time. And there might be other guys that go down before these guys come back too. So, I think they realize that as a staff, though. I really do. I think they realize it.
It's it's one entire line, basically, is what it is. Pierre, I just got word that we got Brian Wilde. Let's go to him.
Beautiful.
Brian Wilde, presented by Fruiterie de Lard. Fresh foods and flavors for over 30 years.
And yes, Brian Wilde is brought to you by Fruiterie de Lard, a family-run business, a mainstay in the LaSalle community since 1995. Proud to continue offering the same fresh foods and flavors they have for the past 30 years, from fresh fruits and produce delivered daily to an ever-expanding assortment of deli meats, cheeses, and sandwiches. You'll find personalized service and friendly faces that make you feel like family at Fruiterie de Lard. Brian, you've been in the biz a long time, so you know a losing voice when you hear one, and you know that it's getting to me. And I am so happy every time I see you, because I know a couple of things about you, and one of the things I know is you love to talk. So, Brian, talk your heart out, please.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is a lot of what was said from Max and Pierre last night, talking about the culture and talking about how much physicality they brought and how much attitude they brought to the Ottawa game. Answer being not nearly enough. First words out of just about everybody's mouth. What was the difference tonight? It was something to the effect of Martin St. Louis realized that we just didn't have enough last night. We were not competitive enough, and we had to change that. So he got us ready for us tonight. He made us hungry about tonight, and he talked about finishing checks. He talked about being first on pucks. He talked about a lot of little things that come with having the right attitude that you bring towards the game. And that was the message that he sent. It wasn't about, cutesy, being cute on offense or any of that stuff that fans tend to love. And one of the guys that showed it to him the most in terms of being a better 5-on-5 hockey player, and I think it was the first game that I ever watched this guy play where I said, hey, this is good 5-on-5 hockey from this guy. This is leveling up. This is what they're going to need from him to be an NHL player going forward that they can really rely on in all circumstances, and that's Ivan Demidov. I thought this was a breakthrough game for the man.
We've been talking about that before he came on, Brian. We totally agree with you 100%. The other guy that had a huge bounce back was Jake Evans. He was no good last night, but he was a heck of a lot better tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, too, because he actually talked about the fact when prompted on it that he got some offensive zone chances for a change. I think he had 6 offensive zone faceoffs. For him is about 6 more than normal. So exactly, Pierre. He was pretty grateful for to get the opportunity on offense a little bit because you know that they lean on him on defense a lot.
Yeah, no, they do. I was also watching Montreal tonight. I was so happy to see the coaching staff make the adjustment. Take Bolduc off the top line with Slafkovsky and Caufield, and put Slafkovsky with Suzuki and Caufield, and get Bolduc off. Did they talk about that at all in the room?
Yep, you hit the nail on the head there. That was brought up to Martin St. Louis, and he was asked about why did you make all of the line changes you did coming off of Ottawa to tonight, and he said, well, historically he knows that the Suzuki line does really well against top lines, matches up historically with some good numbers against them. Now, they didn't tonight. I mean, Scheifele's line dominated for sure. Nobody's mistaken in that area. But that was his thinking going in. And he also wanted to look at Texier in a different way. He said that he's a high-skilled player, so he wanted to see him on the second line because they don't really know what they have with him just yet, Martin St. Louis said. And he added that we need to see what we have from him in terms of an offensive role, and he's still learning this system too, so we need to shelter him a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, they needed a lot of shelter for him because in zone coverage, he's not very good right now.
And maybe that's not a great line for him in terms of Demidov's a young man and Kapanen obviously not a lot of NHL experience, which touches on your point that you made just before I got on, Pierre, about the fact that it is a thin lineup with all the injuries, and it is going to need to be strengthened down the line if they do hope to take a step up this year in getting better results in the playoffs than they did last. It's going to be a tough road, Pierre. You're absolutely right. I mean, those are key injuries. Those are all essentially top 6 guys.
You mentioned Texier. I was expecting some hands in the shootout, but we didn't see it. He attempted to go shot, and it didn't work. But I got to tell you, Cole Caufield finding that 5-hole in the shootout, that's really something. Yeah. You know who struggles in the shootouts? Nick Suzuki.
0 for 15. His last successful attempt is 2023, and he gets chosen every single time. Like, it was funny just before he stopped being successful and running 0 for 15, which is just stunningly bad. Before that, he did a Datsuk. And before that, he did a Datsuk. And it's all anyone was talking about. And it's almost as if he said, well, they're going to know I got that one, so I got to come up with something different, or I don't want the talk always to be about that move. And I think he's just kind of like psychologically talked himself out of his best moves.
He should do a Yarmer Yager. And I saw Yarmer do this with Tom Rennie coaching the New York Rangers. He said to Tom, I'm not comfortable doing this. Don't put me out there.
Wow. He didn't, eh? Wow.
And Tommy didn't put him on. He didn't put him on.
Really? Well, hey, like, if a guy doesn't want to be there, you can't put him there. Like, that's bad coaching, right, Pierre? It's bad coaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what, too, is that Texier took Demidov's spot tonight in the shootout. Right, we're usually used to seeing Demidov, and it's his spot he took. And
but I think Demidov too is the same problem, Tony. It's like a lot of guys in the shootouts. They I don't know. It's almost like you don't want to overperform. And I think I have a theory of why that is, and I'd love to hear your response on that, you two. My theory is it's a little bit negative. I feel like they're almost embarrassed to be a part of it sometimes. It's just not classic hockey. It's not the way the game should end. It's not the way they want to feel about the game as them one-on-one in this moment that they didn't earn. It's hard to explain, but I don't feel they want to be their best selves, a lot of them, except for Trevor Zegras. He has no problem. He's absolutely fine.
Zegras is pretty good in that shootout.
Yeah, he's like 77% or something. He's like 50% higher than anybody in history.
He's the best I've ever seen. Brian, you sent over a couple of clips, and one of them was Arbor Jackeye, which we didn't. That's the only one we didn't get to. And let's hear from Arbor.
Kind of fired us up today, and said we got to go to war today. And like you said, it was the best decision. The best thing that could happen to us is playing the next day after a game like that, and kind of showing what we can do. So we did a great job at kind of leading us tonight.
All right, there you have it. Arbor Jackeye saying the best thing that could have happened to us was actually playing again tonight, because last night was just not very good. And he credited Marty St. Louis for preparing the team the way he did. And guys, let's not forget that Marty St. Louis actually said the other night that he didn't think that he prepared the team as well as he could have in Colorado, and actually took responsibility. And tonight, Arbor Jackeye says, you know what? Credit to Marty for preparing us very, very well. So,
and Arbor's had 2 pretty good games.
He's had 2 pretty good games. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at the hockey stat card, he's been way up there in the last couple of games. Arbor's been way up there. His pairing with Carrier in the last 2 games, tonight and yesterday, were actually the number 1 pairing per hockey stat card. So it's interesting. And not only did he have 2 pretty good games, guys, Arbor Jackeye got, he brought Adam Lowry to the box. He brought a very effective player to the box. He did well. I think it's the first fight that he's won in a while. And this is going to help his confidence quite a bit. But Arbor's lost some weight, guys? He's no longer as huge as he was about a year ago,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that?
No, I did not. No.
Yeah, I do. I find that he's thinned out quite a bit. I find. Yeah.
Well, all I know is he won a fight and he figured out when to go fight. He figured it out tonight.
He did.
He didn't figure it out last night. I'll tell you that right now.
No. Well, Larry just crunched Alex Carrier, and then Arbor said, "You can't. Let's go." And Larry didn't think twice, eh? This guy.
He had no choice because they had a players only meeting, and he called it in Buffalo after they got throttled by the Sabres. So if you're going to be the captain of a team, you better be ready to throw down. If you're going to throw down on the rest of your teammates.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, he had to show the example, right?
Yep, 100%.
Brian, Marty St. Louis, if you could just give us an idea of the whole mood last night, the mood tonight.
Well, last night you could tell he was pretty pissed off, and I think today he was pretty happy that his players responded to his message. I got the feeling like you don't really learn from these guys what conversations they have with the coach and how often they have them or how serious they get or how angry the coach gets. I mean, that's for them, right? Like when we learn that, it's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
But they were all really open about that after the game tonight and really ready to talk about the fact that they felt that the coach really got us prepared for tonight's game. And not so much in terms of X's and O's, but in terms of attitude. In terms of against Ottawa, you didn't bring it like an NHL hockey team. And he especially said that he wanted to send that message to Anderson's line and bring them back together as the three guys that have been together a lot so they could feel that commonality amongst themselves and feel the camaraderie between them to make up for what they did last night and how poor they were. And it was the first thing out of Jake Evans's mouth. He said, and I wasn't rolling yet, so I didn't give it to you guys, but the first thing out of his mouth was, I wanted a chance to prove that last night was not how I played, that it was an anomaly. And he, with those two guys who have been, their line mates for a long time, felt like they all had something to prove because they were, like Pierre said, they were no-shows last night. And they're proud guys. Like Jake's a veteran at this point, and Anderson's a veteran. Gallagher's a veteran. They're proud guys. They don't want anybody saying that their careers are over just because they have a bad game against Ottawa. They want to come back to the rink and, they're pissed off and ready to go. And I think that's what Martin St. Louis wanted to get out of them. That feeling. Get pissed off. Get ready to go. You're an NHL team. That was not good enough. And that's what they wanted to talk about in the room.
Yeah, and Pierre pointed out that
because they love him. They wouldn't do that if they didn't love the guy.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in him.
Pierre pointed out yesterday that Jake Evans was team worst minus 15 yesterday. And guys, I put my finger on it. I know exactly what's wrong with Jake Evans. He had twins. He's not sleeping much, guys. He had twins.
Gary Price talked about that.
That's a real thing, eh?
Well, I learned that from Scott Bowman. He said, never have children during the season. If you can plan it, make sure you have them between the end of June to the start of September, but don't have them once the season starts. So hey, I listened to him. We practiced what he preached. Our son was born on July 27th and our daughter was born on August 7th. That's
nice.
all I
Good job. Good job. Not everybody is that
that's pretty funny.
That smart about things, Pierre.
Brian,
They even time their children. You know what though? That Pierre just says more than anything what a hockey guy you are. Right?
Brian, I asked Pierre about this at the beginning of the show. I'm going to ask you the same question if you'd like. Zachary Bolduc goes from first line to fourth line in 24 hours. Your thoughts?
You got to play better hockey. That's what happens. Like if you're not going to play committed, better hockey, then that's what, like if there's no, responsibility for poor hockey, what's the whole point? You might as well not have coaches. You might as well not have managers. You might as well not have anybody assessing anything if there are no repercussions for bad play.
Really, but isn't it something that decided to put Texier?
They want to see
with Demidov and Kapanen before putting Bolduc. I mean, they haven't put Bolduc and Demidov and Kapanen together this season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, and Martin Saint Louis addressed that, and he said that we feel that Texier is actually more of a skilled player who will excel better with other skilled players, and we wanted to see if we could make that a fit for him because we're still learning what he can give us.
Yeah, that's good.
Brian, if you're Billy Guerin and you saw Lane Hutson and Cole Caufield tonight,
Lane was sensational tonight, man.
I thought Lane was unbelievable.
He was fantastic tonight. There were so few things. Like, if you hated Lane tonight, then you just basically decided he's 5'10", and that's just not good enough. And that's it. The discussion is over in your mind. Because as a hockey player, you know what amazed me about Lane tonight? And I laugh every time I sit beside Eric Engels, and half of the time I'm giggling because I watch him go into the corner with somebody who's 6'3", and I watch him leave with the puck. And then I watch the guy feel slow behind him as he's heading out of the zone. Yeah. The amount of times that guy at 5'10" beats somebody that's carrying 50 more pounds than him, it blows my mind. But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I agree.
It does happen all the time. Brian Wilde, thanks so much for joining us.
1 second, if I could.
Of course, you take all the time you want. You could stay on for another hour.
I don't know how much you talked about it, but what about you guys? Your thoughts, if I can get them from you before I leave? Jakub Dobes, do we run with him as a number one?
Yeah, well, Tony and I talked about it before you came on, Brian.
Okay, give me 20 seconds. Now I'm the actual audience, and I want to hear your opinion.
he's got to start on Saturday night in Toronto. He really does, and then you go forward from there. But he's got to start Saturday night.
Yeah, you don't have to run with him because it's going to be once again a month of December where there's going to be on many occasions 2 games and 2 nights. So just with that, you know that it's going to be split duty because, like Pierre just talked about, Saturday you're in Toronto and the following night you host the St. Louis Blues. The week after that, you're in New York versus the Rangers on Saturday, and the following night you're hosting the Edmonton Oilers at home. The week after that, you're hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins on the Saturday, and you're in Pittsburgh on the Sunday. All I'm saying is, if you're going to play 2 games and 2 nights, Jakub Dobes has to be playing the conference games. He has to be playing the division games. I don't understand that Dobes didn't play last night versus Ottawa. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. He's the guy that Marty St. Louis said, okay, you're my guy 10 days ago versus Toronto. He won that game. I'm going to repeat myself again. They go on that 3-game road trip. The most winnable game, the one that is the most important game that you have to have, is Utah. So he goes back with Dobes. He wins that one. Now there's a back-to-back, Vegas and Colorado. They're like, all right, the whole city is saying that Colorado was already a scheduled loss. But he decides to put Montembeault in Vegas. So you know what? Montembeault played great in Vegas. And Dobes did exactly what everyone thought he and the team were going to do on Saturday in Colorado. Lose and lose big. And that's what happened. So now you come back, you got 2 games and 2 nights, both on home ice, and one's a lot more important than the other. It's a conference game, it's a divisional game, it's versus a rival who's 1 point behind you in the standings, and you decide to throw everything out the window that you just thought about the last 10 days and say, I'm going to Dobes, I'm going to Montembeault. It doesn't make sense to me. It made no sense. It made no sense. And I get it. I get it that Montembeault was your number one after last season. But it's professional sports, man. What have you done for me lately?
Pierre, your thoughts on all that?
I would have played Dobes last night in the division game.
Okay.
I would have.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Brian, would you?
I feel like this is the first time all season where I feel very, very confident that the number one goalie on the club is Dobes.
There you go.
So now I'm making all of my decisions going forward based on that confidence I finally have. That one guy is very much stepping up, 9-3-5, 3 saves out of 3 in the shootout, and extremely focused tonight. Like,
don't you
all
think,
of this stuff,
Brian, don't you think he looks big in net? Like, he looks big, whereas Sam doesn't look big.
Exactly. Sam is making himself small sometimes. Yeah. And the only time Dobes doesn't look big is the odd time he gets, if it's coming from the side or behind the net, the odd time he finds himself a little deep.
Yeah.
And like fair. On the, I don't remember who scored, Connor. On Connor's goal that went off him right here. Yeah. If he's just a little less deep, little
that's
out
fair.
there. He makes that save. The only time he gets caught is on that little something coming out of the corner where he finds himself a little hugged, a little deep. They can just push out just a smidge. I think he'd improve his save percentage by 5 to 10 points. But
Wow.
to me, he's just the number one guy right now. He's just
Yeah.
so much more confident, so much more focused. And the times where like he's not on camera, when you're here up there and I'm staring at something that can interest me more than, Eric, for instance. Sorry, Eric. I'll watch Dobes. And I mean, my God, that guy, when it's a commercial timeout and when they're cleaning the ice or when nothing's going, he is so focused. In the shootout tonight, when the Canadiens were shooting, doesn't even watch it. He is so focused on his job.
I don't know if you know this, but he actually spoke about it on one occasion. He's hired a sports performance coach, and the sports performance coach has him doing visualization.
That's what he was doing then.
When there's stoppages in play. So if there's a TV timeout or whatever, he doesn't go to the bench. He doesn't. And he's doing visualization all the time. So that's exactly what you saw him doing.
Yeah, in the shootout. Yeah.
His reaction at the end of the game
told you everything.
He wanted this one tonight.
Absolutely. I think he's the number one guy right now because like Sam's bottom 5 in goals saved above expected. He's bottom 5 in save percentage. I mean, there's just nothing about him except for the 62 he put in last year, but he's not that dude right now.
Nope.
Listen, he's got 4 more wins. He's got a better goals against. Yep. He's got a better save percentage.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, he's playing bigger. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam bounces back, but I almost feel like they want him to bounce back so much because if you recall, Marty St. Louis told us a couple of weeks ago when asked if he anticipated a workload like the Bruins used to have when they had both the Ullmark and Swayman, and he said no. I think you have to have a number one who carries the mail, and I anticipate it to be Montembeault. Marty St. Louis said that.
I didn't catch that.
Yes, he did. And I anticipate it to be Montembeault. And I just got the feeling in the past couple of weeks that after that, a couple of starts were given to Montembeault only not only, but
that long ago. Yes.
I almost get the feeling that it was like, okay, you got to prove me right now. But if you keep wanting a struggling goalie to prove you right, you're going to end up dropping some points.
You are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I really feel like tonight was a night where maybe that changed. This was kind of like as much as they've been losing, like there have been some major developments on the team that are absolutely massive. I like Slafkovsky. I just made a kind of a joke on Blue Sky that one of the chapters in his book when he's all finished is going to be the 3 weeks that changed my life, the non-Olympics version, because the last 3 weeks, the guy is like turning into somebody that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Tonight, I felt Demidov turned into a 5-on-5 hockey player. And tonight, I also felt like Dobes turned into the number one goalie. So, like, we're only like a game 25 or 6 in a season, but I feel like there are major developments for this franchise that are moving forward that are going to be pretty good for them.
I think Lane Hutson played himself on a Team USA.
Wow. Do you really? I mean, that would be exciting. Hey,
I do.
Do you think that's why Guerin was here?
100%. I asked him on my podcast today. I said,
cool. Tell me. You guys are never going to get me off the air. First time caller, Pierre, could you tell me?
I said, did you come here to see Lane Hutson and Cole Caufield? He said, absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got to bring him. He has to bring him. If he's not bringing him, he's making a big mistake.
I can't believe they do not bring him. I'll be absolutely shocked if they don't bring him.
Do you think Cole helped this cause tonight, though? I mean, they were a bit sunken by the Winnipeg's top line tonight.
The checking part didn't help them, but the creativity on the offensive part of the game helped them a little bit. Like that was a slick pass to Slafkovsky. Tony makes a point as a set play. I agree, but you still got to get the puck there.
Yeah,
and he got it there, and then that goal he scores in the shootout. I did Brian, I did the games in Sochi when TJ Oshie took over the shootout.
Yeah.
And Eddie
Right.
Olczyk and Doc Emmerich were like, who do you think's going to get all the shots? And I said, it's going to be TJ Oshie. It's the only reason he's on this team. You know,
That's it.
and sure enough, he goes out there and dominates it. And you know, if you were to ask me, the shootout's a real part of this thing at the Olympics because it's really, truly best on best. I would have a shootout specialist there. And Caufield's as good as you're going to find because Oshie's not coming back.
So we talked about Hutson before. Out of all the defensemen in the National Hockey League, the three that from an offensive standpoint can impact the game the most. McGuire, Hughes, and Lane Hutson.
That's it. Those are the three.
Those are three, but I wouldn't sell
Zach
Sanderson or
Greinke.
Heiskanen short either.
My God, Sanderson was good last night, you guys.
I wouldn't sell those guys
Holy
short either
moly,
one, but I would
Sanderson
agree
was
on
good.
the offensive side, those three guys are really good.
I love Jake Sanderson.
Yeah. What a steal at 5, you
That
guys.
was a hell
What
of a
steal.
draft pick. That was a hell of a
At
pick.
5.
That was a hell of a
And didn't they lose the lotto that year? They were all whining, and they ended up
they
having
lost the lottery and they got Timmy Stützle in the 3-hole.
too bad.
Then they got Sanderson. Then they got Ridley Gregg. Then they got Tyler Clevin. They got all four of those guys in one draft.
That's pretty good drafting.
Yeah, and they're all in the National Hockey League. You're right about that. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
an
Brian.
absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you. Thank you. There you have it. Brian Wilde from Global TV Montreal. All right. Okay. We're going to finish up pretty soon here. Pierre, the Canadiens are going to be in Toronto on Saturday night versus the Leafs. Talk to me about the Leafs, Pierre.
They played a hard game last night in Florida. I know it's a dilapidated Florida team because of injuries, but I was really impressed by Toronto last night. And the biggest thing I saw is Dakota Joshua played guilty. Nicky Roy played guilty, and Bobby McMahon played really well. He had 2 assists in the game. I'm watching that game. I'm saying to myself, they need Austin Matthews to pick up the pace, but he created scoring chances last night, which was good. Matthew Knies was a lot better. They're still short on the back end, Tony. They're really short on the back end. They need help. But one guy that's made a difference there, they picked him up on waivers from Edmonton, Troy Stetcher. He's been really good for them. And when he plays with Jake McCabe, it allows McCabe to move from the right side to the left side where he's a ton better. Jake McCabe's a left shot, and he's much better on the left than he is on the right. And I just can tell you that Joseph Woll is playing as well as I've seen him play. And I've been watching Joe for a very long time, going back to the development program and then at Boston College. And this is about as well as I've seen him play. So Toronto's going to be a hard out. It will be a difficult out.
Day off for the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow, of course, after 2 games in 2 days. No media availability tomorrow. By the way, Sportsnet put up a stat, which I thought was interesting. I'll read it to you, Pierre, if we don't have it. And it is Canadiens lead the National Hockey League with 69 goals from players aged 26 or younger.
Yeah, it's special. That's great.
Huh?
That's
Talking about your young core. There you have it. So it's all there.
Yeah.
Pierre, thank you very much once again. Have a great night, Pierre.
You just go feel better.
I will.
I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Tony.
I will. Take care, Pierre.
Great job.
All right, Pierre McGuire. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. Pierre McGuire was brought to you by Restaurant Vago Italien. Brian Wilde was brought to you by Fruiterie de Lard. Special thanks to Betway. Special thanks to La Bittt Tibi. Special thanks to Playground. And special thanks to Energy Transportation Group as well. Special thanks to all of you for watching. And thank you for bearing with me, even though my voice is not at 100%. Lorenzo says, Tony, take 2 Advils and go to bed. I'm actually on antibiotics, Lorenzo. I have been for several days now. So I'm not taking Advils. I'm actually taking antibiotics. I also got a syrup with that. I also have suppositories for my voice. I got a couple of things going on right now. And I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to gargle right now some lukewarm water with salt. And I'm going to take whatever medication I need to take. And I'm going to go to bed, and I'll be up tomorrow morning with a first radio hit at around 8 a.m. in the morning. And then a podcast between 10 and 12. And then TV at 5:30. And then the Sick Podcast tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. And my guests will be Craig Button and Pierre Lebrun. Hopefully the voice comes back. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Tibi, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.